Hey guys, welcome back. 12 days of reactivity with me, Kat. I'm a dog trainer. I specialise in terriers and terrier crosses. This is the sort of dog I live and work with every single day. So today we are looking at the importance of choosing the right environment. Now I kind of like briefly touched on this a little bit in the last over the last couple of days, and that the environment that you're in with your dog can make a huge difference to the success of your training. Okay, there's a little saying in behaviour, and that is genetics loads the gun and environment pulls the trigger. Okay, so this is where people will say to you, oh, I've got a terrier and they've never had a problem with them chasing, right? It's probably because they've never had much access to chase, right? Like I've got two very prey driven terriers and they got very used at chasing things because this is the kind of environment, right, that I have available to me every day. It's where I walk my dogs. And there's squirrels and deer and rabbits and just about any kind of, it's a Scottish forest, right? It's got all the things in it that a terrier would love to go after, foxes, badgers, everything. So they've got the genetics and I provided the environment, right? So they got very high, so their prey drive has a place to go. If you live in a town and you only ever really walk your dog in the local park where there's no access to that kind of stuff, it's not that you don't have a dog that's not got the genetics, it's just that there's nobody been there or there's nothing been there to pull the trigger, okay? And the same goes for your reactivity. Now, the environments that you're currently walking your dog in and that you're currently having your reactivity problems with are the places that you need to, let's check in from these two, they're good dogs, are the places that you now need to rethink, okay? So let's say, for example, you're walking your dog around your local area, you're stepping out of your front door in the morning and you're walking the streets maybe, or even into like the local kind of green space, green park, and that is where your dog is currently reacting. That's where they've learnt to react. One of the best things you can do in order to help your training succeed is remove yourself from those environments, okay? Because they have become the trigger for your loaded gun, right? You need to go somewhere and unload that gun, right? So that when you then go back, there's nothing in that gun to fire, okay? Or you have like, I'm trying to think of a way to carry this metaphor on, you have like a way to, make sure that the chamber remains empty all of the time, right? So and again, it's a part of this kind of like difficult phase that you need to put yourself through, because you need to change your habits. Okay, and nothing's going to change unless you do, because you've got habits, your dog's got habits, and those habits will just continue if you don't do anything about it, okay? So you need to go through the process of changing those habits, changing the environments that you're in, and then relearning new skills. And then eventually, once you've relearned those new skills, going back to those difficult environments is possible, but it's kind of like the pinnacle. You'd think like walking out of your front door would be the easiest walk that you can do. Whereas in reality, it's going to be the most difficult because it's the history, and the kind of like trigger for your dog is those environments. And you'd be amazed at how many people change their environments and all of a sudden like, oh, my dog's just not reacting anymore. You're like, yep. It's because one of the biggest trigger pictures for that dog is that particular environment that they were in. So short one today, but massive. Not in depth, but huge. Right, and often it's the little things, the simple things, that are the things that make the biggest difference to you. So change your environments, okay? Train somewhere different. Go to a different type of space. Avoid the places that have been bothering you before. Train, learn, and then go back and tackle those spaces. I'm not saying avoid it forever, because that's the thing in dog training. Like people just teach people how to avoid stuff, right? And that's not what we're trying to do. But we are, in the short term, going to use that as a way to build new skills so that we can go back to those environments that we actually want to walk in without problems.